All right, so this is a suggestion via a donation. The name of the video is The Craziest Discoveries the James Webb Space Telescope has made so far. This is coming from the channel Joe Scott, guys. Let's check it out.
For 3 months at the beginning of 2022, I had a tab open on my computer. A tab that I checked literally every day. It was the homepage of the James Webb Space Telescope. Because after 20 years...
Of course, bro. Firstly, sir, I don't know if you... listen, we should know each other. This is what I mean by this, guys. Every time I jump into his videos, he seems to be like me, but not like me, bro. The reason why I say this is because, guys, look, let me see if I can show you this here, guys. On this screen right here, right, is literally the homepage that I consistently refresh for new information, bro. All right, so I just want to go ahead and point this. When I say that I am absolutely fixated by this thing, guys, I mean it.
Years of development and hype and delays, Webb launched successfully on Christmas Day 2021.
Right.
But it still had a long road ahead.
Absolutely.
Because of its complicated unfolding process.
I mean, kind of a long road, bro. I mean, I get it in terms of like when it launched and was able to like fully deploy. We get that, right? But guys, no, it wasn't a long road. Once it was up, it was up. But obviously, we had a lot of people on the ground were like, is it going to completely and fully like deploy successfully? Everyone was going crazy. You're right.
There were literally dozens of points of failure as it made its way to the L2 Lagrange point.
Right.
And any one of these would have disabled the mission and made all that time and energy and money go
gone
right down the drain.
Right.
But way worse, also the promise of all the scientific discoveries that we were expecting from Webb. The loss would have been incalculable. So yeah, I was pretty much obsessed with every step of that process.
Right.
Thankfully, as we all know, everything went according to plan. It nailed its orbit at L2, and its mirrors were carefully and painstakingly aligned. And then on July 12th, 2022, almost exactly a year ago from when this video...
that was the date the image of the Southern Ring Nebula was released.
It was coming out. This happened.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was like, oh, wow. So what you're saying is all the money that we've put into James Webb is actually functional. It was worth it, right? Like, is it able to compete with Hubble? Absolutely, bro. What do you mean? Compete? It blew Hubble out of the water, guys. It did, right? Look at this. Oh. Whoa.
Wow. Whoa.
Right, everyone went crazy.
HD.
Right.
Look at the detail in like the
Right, yeah, the Southern Ring Nebula.
This was first light, the first image to be released from the James Webb Space Telescope. It was the first time we were introduced to the now iconic six-pointed flares that would come to define Webb's observations.
And I was not a fan of that, guys. Let you know right now. I am not a fan of these six-pointed stars. I understand that it's based all on the coating, or maybe there's like a filter that was placed in front of the actual, capturing device itself, right? But I am absolutely not a fan of these stars. A lot of people do that in terrestrial photography, and I'll also say the same thing, guys. Like, these stars are super distracting from the image. I'm just a stickler, guys. I've been a photographer for 2 decades, guys. I'm a stickler for this. These six-pointed stars are tacky.
And it absolutely shattered our expectations.
It did.
As excited as we all were for those first photos, they were only a hint of the discoveries to come. And today, we mark the first year of Webb's discoveries.
Right.
So let's
not
celebrate
today,
Webb's first birthday with a look at what Webb has accomplished so far.
Today, actually.
And some ideas of what's to come. I'm going to kick this list off with one of the earliest discoveries from JWST. It also happens to be one of the most dramatic. In July 2022, astronomers at Harvard spotted a galaxy in a JWST image that may be the oldest ever known. I should note here that July 2022 was literally Webb's first month of operation. So, yeah, our boy came out swinging.
Right.
This galaxy was initially named GLASS Z13. GLASS was the name of the survey JWST was doing. The Z13 part refers to redshift, basically a way to tell how far away the distant objects are. It's since turned out that GLASS Z13 is not quite as redshifted as they previously thought. It's now called GLASS Z12, and it's no longer a candidate for the oldest known galaxy.
You know why, guys? There's a reason for that. Listen, so we spent all of this money building James Webb to bring back this image of allegedly one of the oldest galaxies to exist, right, within our system, right? Just for a observatory in Hawaii, maybe? I think it's Hawaii, somewhere in the Polynesian chain of things, guys. I think it is Hawaii though. they were just like, bro, no. We're going to beat you guys out in one try. And they basically found a galaxy that's even older than the one that's being depicted on the screen here, guys. Right? I think it's HD1.
There are two reasons for this. One is because other galaxies have been found by JWST that may be older, forming within 300 million years after the Big Bang. The other reason Glass Z12 has fallen in the rankings is that a galaxy discovered before July 2022 has been sort of kind of confirmed as older.
Right.
The galaxy is called HD1, and ironically, it wasn't discovered by Webb. It was discovered by the Subaru telescope in Hawaii back in April 2022.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Data on all these galaxies is still being peer-reviewed at the time of this recording anyway.
Right.
It may turn out HD1 is the oldest. It may turn out that one of the JWST finds is older, or
yeah, guys, as of right now, I'm definitely sticking with HD1.
Or maybe some other galaxy may turn up that we don't even know about
Based
yet.
off the
Whatever the
current
case,
data.
the discovery of these galaxies supports some theories of how the universe formed and challenges others. We're looking back 13.5 billion years when we look at these galaxies.
It's all over the place. So.
There's a lot to sort out. Next on my list just happens to be one of the coolest photos to come out of Webb, in my opinion, anyway. This is known as the Phantom Galaxy. I'm using air quotes because the galaxy's official name is M74. It's also known as NGC 628. The Phantom nickname came from how hard M74 is to see. It's super faint relative to others up there. An earthbound astronomer would be super lucky to actually see it on a very cloudless night. Also because of the cool mask it wears. But JWST drops the Phantom right in front of our face. I also want to mention that there have been Hubble pictures that were taken of the Phantom Galaxy. There are composite images that combine the optical picture from Hubble with the infrared from Webb, which is cool, but I don't know. That Webb photo is just dope.
I've never heard of
that
this
came
one,
out in
guys.
August of 2022. The very next month,
I missed
another
it.
image was revealed that really got us space nerds tingling. So astronomers have found thousands of exoplanets since the first one was detected in 1992, but almost all of them were too far away to directly image. But in September 2022, NASA released Webb's first 4 direct images of an exoplanet. 2 were shot with a near-infrared camera, or NIRCam, and 2 were shot with a mid-infrared instrument, or MIRI. All of them were of exoplanet HIP 65426b.
Oh, this is the one they found in the Centaurus constellation. Yeah.
Catchy name. It's a gas giant orbiting its star at about
It's a
100 times the
scientific
distance
name.
between Earth and the Sun. The star, HIP 65426, is in the Centaurus constellation. Actually, it's right where the heart of the horse part is the Centaur would be, which brings up questions about mythology, which have nothing to do with this video.
Right.
Much more relevant is its distance from Earth. The star is about 385 light years away. That's not super close as exoplanet hosts go, so you might wonder why JWST looked there. Part of the reason is its distant orbit. The actual separation between the star and the planet makes it easier to see. And the planet's no lightweight either. It has a mass 6 to 12 times that of Jupiter. But still, a direct image of an exoplanet had never been done before. And this was 2 months after it went online. Speaking of rare, this next item is also something we've never seen before. Now, technically we haven't seen any direct images, but the detection alone is the first. Also in September 2022, researchers reported the detection of silicate clouds. Now, clouds are fairly common in the solar system, but these clouds were detected on an object 72 light years away.
Okay.
And the object wasn't a planet or a moon either. It was a brown dwarf. Now, basically, brown dwarfs are kind of failed stars. Like they're massive enough to fuse heavier elements, but not massive enough to fuse hydrogen. VHS 1256-1257b is a brown dwarf 19 times the mass of Jupiter. Spectrum analysis revealed silicate clouds in its atmosphere. Now, silicate means sand, so think less this and more this. So sand clouds on brown dwarfs had been theorized, but never observed. So this was cool, but VHS had some more surprises
I mean,
for it.
we're still not actually observing it until we actually get a viable image.
Further observations detected CO2. In 1995, O.J. Simpson was acquitted of murder. The Hanshin earthquake killed over 5,000 people, and domestic terrorists bombed the Alfred P. Murrah building in Oklahoma City. In slightly better news, this came out. This image
the horse head?
is known as the Pillars of Creation. It's one of the most iconic astronomy photos ever taken. In 2014, Hubble took an even better photo. So, if astronomers really wanted to open her up and see what Webb could do, this was the place to do it. And boy, did it deliver. JWST's version is clear, colorful, and full of details Hubble.
Those colors are not real, guys. The image is stunning, guys. Like whoever retouched the image and actually did all the things that were required to actually pull out an image that looks like this. Because trust me, when they got this image back, it was completely black. example, I took an image of the pelican a while ago. If you see this here, right? So this is an image that I took on the screen right now, and you will literally see nothing. This is what these images look like whenever you do any type of like astronomy photography with the correct equipment, like with all the filters and the light pollution filters, etc. This is a galaxy here in this corner here. But this whole image has actually color, but you cannot see it, right? It has to be fully retouched and things like that, guys. So this is, I'm speculating that this is what they're getting back whenever they are pulling all these images out, guys. Like, it's an extremely sharp image too. Like, be fully aware, it's, you know, it's sharp. But yeah, they're adding all those colors, guys.
Couldn't see. Granted, the colors are artificial, but those details are definitely there. It's also a perfect demonstration of Webb's ability to see through dust clouds with its infrared sensors. JWST took the image using NearCam, which is how it was able to see through all that dust that obscured so much from Hubble, and the murky background that was shown by Hubble looks like a swimming pool full of glitter to JWST. The orange blotches in Hubble's pic look like cosmic lava flows. And they're actually more metal than that. The fiery fingertips that you see in the image, those are fiery jets from hot young stars. Is it just me, or does this wedge behind the tallest pillar make the whole thing look like a giant mummy hand? In fact, it kind of looks like a giant claw trying to pinch the star and pull it out. But again, the colors aren't what you or I would see with our own eyes. They're mostly representations of wavelengths that Webb can see, but we can't.
Right.
And honestly,
like that image that I just showed you, right? That's basically that. That's, you know, we can't see it, but trust me, if I put it into Photoshop, Photoshop can kind of see these colors, like enough for us to kind of pull them out and kind of know what the overall tone of that very specific region of the image is, guys. And then we can just like amplify that one specific section for whatever color it is. But yeah, the image that we just saw on the screen, no, bro, they definitely added very selective saturation to very specific colors.
To me, this is one of the most fun things about looking at the Webb's photos is comparing them to Hubble photos we've all come to know and love. This really shows how far these telescopes have come. But back to exoplanets, another exciting discovery was made on a planet called WASP-39b. WASP-39b is in our general neighborhood, about 750 light years from Earth, and it orbits a star in the Virgo constellation called Melmac. Not to be confused with Melmac, where this guy came from.
Right.
This planet also goes by the name Boca Prinz. If you're wondering, Boca Prinz is named for Boca Prinz, a beach in Aruba. Some cool sci-fi names around this planet. But what really makes this planet special is its composition. Spectrum analysis showed that its atmosphere contains carbon dioxide, but not just that, also water and sulfur dioxide. What this means is that, as far as chemistry goes anyway, Boca Prinz is one of the most Earth-like exoplanets we've found. I will say, though, that the similarity kind of stops at chemistry.
I mean, listen, honestly, guys, we probably wouldn't actually want to live there. Just be fully aware. I mean, it's close by the sounds of it, based off of the elements, guys, but wouldn't want to be there.
Boca Prinz is about the size of Saturn with a temperature of around 871 degrees Celsius.
There we go. That solves it.
1,600 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right.
An aluminum can would melt in the atmosphere. Right. This is because Boca Prinz orbits way too closely for comfort, and that makes it tidally locked, so the hot part stays hot all the time.
Keep it hot, keep it cool.
But still, the findings
Okay, but how hot is the dark side?
are really interesting to astronomers, and it's thought that it could teach us a lot about how planets form, so we expect to be investigating it further in the future. But even though Webb was built to see the furthest edges of the universe, it's also been used to observe things right here in our solar system. In fact, in September of last year, it was watching when the DART mission slammed into an asteroid. Hubble was watching too, actually. So together, these telescopes studied how the asteroid materials plumed after the impact. Webb and Hubble take pictures in different wavelengths, so using both let observers see different things. But then in November of last year, JWST collaborated with yet another telescope to image Titan, Saturn's largest moon. So Titan has a thick atmosphere that blocks visible light. So JWST and ground-based Keck telescope, they were able to use that to peer through the upper atmosphere in infrared. And their images show clouds rotating from Titan's dawn side to its dusk side. Titan's been imaged before, and astronomers have known clouds exist there in some form since the 1990s, but unlike Earth clouds, clouds on Titans are a pretty rare phenomenon. So JWST and Keck were lucky to catch them, and scientists were happy to have this rare glimpse into this aspect of Titan's weather. And last but not least, Webb turns its attention to the majesty of Uranus. The planet.
The majesty? Okay. Okay, hold on.
At least Webb turns his
I'm a
attention
child.
to the majesty of Uranus.
I'm a child. I
planet.
think so. Right.
Seriously, though, Uranus is breathtaking. In April 2023, Webb captured footage of its rings. And they're not as flashy as Saturn's, but just look at that clarity, that separation. Also visible in the images is the polar cap. The polar cap of Uranus appears and disappears depending on the season. This is because
Bro, just say Uranus, please. Please just say Uranus.
Uranus is actually turned sideways.
Right.
You'll notice clouds in the images too. And in the zoomed out view, you can clearly see 6 of Uranus's 27 moons. There's a lot more in the images that isn't as obvious, but like I said, in all the images on this list, researchers are still...
They're not done being
details.
studied. Yeah.
So I think for now I'm going to end my list right there. There's a lot more actually, and you can find them all on the James Webb Discovery website. I'll link that down below. Yeah, you'll see the word unprecedented thrown around quite a bit if you go there.
It's in like every single description, guys. But I will say though, it's warranted. Absolutely, it's well deserved because again, everything that James Webb is giving to humanity is absolutely unprecedented. I mean, we have no other examples.
And honestly, I think that's fair. Many of these
Absolutely.
pictures are things that we've never seen before, or things that we've never seen at this clarity before anyway. So yeah, all in all, it's been an amazing first year. There have been some problems worth pointing out. There have been a few micrometeoroid impacts on the mirrors, including one in May 2022 that was especially concerning, but the Webb team was able to adjust for it. Maybe even more concerning was an issue with the MIRI instrument. Apparently a wheel that switches filters between different wavelengths got stuck and actually kind of threatened to disable one of the most important instruments on Webb, but the team did find a workaround for that too. So thankfully nothing insurmountable and hopefully nothing new that is insurmountable comes up, but the bottom line is Webb has just continued to surpass expectations, which, considering all the hype around it, is really saying something. So what comes next for Webb? Well, NASA actually just released in May what the next round of observations are going to be. I've linked the full list down below, but here's some of them that stand out to me. Imaging comets, centaurs, and other Kuiper Belt objects. More exoplanets, of course. Studies of distant stars to help pin down the age of the universe. Other targets include black holes, supernovae, quasars, and white dwarf stars, including a specific quasar that may provide new data on dark matter and dark energy. Now back here in our solar system, a surprisingly large water plume on Saturn's moon Enceladus was recently detected by Webb, and there are plans to look at that again in the coming months. Yeah, there were compounds that were found in those plumes like phosphorus that suggest the possibility of life in the underwater oceans of Enceladus, which has always been a place of interest to astronomers, but this just adds to that. Yeah, we haven't actually sent a probe to Enceladus since Cassini when they did a flyby in 2015, so who knows when the next opportunity will be to get a close-up look, but in the meantime, JWST will have to be the next best thing. So I guess it looks like all that hand-wringing over every last unfolding step in those 3 months may have been worth it. Now, keep in mind, when they launched Webb, they were expecting it to be operational for just 5 to 10 years, but they nailed the launch so well that it could get 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, we're going to get some more time out of it.
And we've gotten
guys.
all this just from the first year
Absolutely.
alone. So, yeah.
Guys, imagine if NASA had a bigger budget.
Who knows what we'll find out next. The Webb telescope has brought a clarity to the universe that we've never had before. Clarity is important. Clarity of what we see, obviously, but also clarity in how we communicate what we see. Unfortunately, back here on Earth, clarity in science communication has become harder than ever before. It's something I talk about a lot on this channel. You know, the internet's brought a lot of amazing things to us, but it's also made it really difficult to discern truth. I've argued in previous videos that we're
Right.
kind of heading into a post-truth world where whatever it is you believe in, you can find it online, and it's leading to information bubbles where different groups practically live in their own realities.
Echo chambers. Echo chambers are a problem for everyone. Everyone. Right? It's no longer whatever the truth is. It's whatever your very specific truth is. Right? There's no like concrete truth any longer. Right? Because everyone believes in something different. And he's right here, guys. You can go find whatever you want to fit whatever narrative you want to push. Right?
This leads to all kinds of polarization, conspiracy theories. It's a mess, and it's something I actually worry quite a bit about. Which is why I was really happy to partner up with a service called Ground News, which, believe it or not, was founded by a former NASA engineer named Harleen Kaur.
Guys, what's funny is I literally used, like, somebody asked me the other day, like, what do you, like, how do you get your news? If you say you don't like listening to right-leaning politics, you don't like listening to left-leaning politics, Ground News. Literally, because it gives you the ability to basically find out what you're paying attention, like whatever you're reading, bro. Right? Like, So whenever you're encountering something, you can kind of tell if it's leaning to the left or to the right based off of the data from like the website itself.
Actually worked on the Webb telescope in its early years. So what they do is actually kind of genius. They basically aggregate articles from over 50,000 news outlets from all around the world, and then they arrange them by topic.
Right.
So if you want to check out the news on a certain topic, you just find the topic you're interested in, you can browse the articles on that topic, and right there where you're browsing, it tells you how biased the article is. These are rated by 3 independent news monitoring organizations for bias and factuality, so you can see for yourself where this information lies on the spectrum. And sometimes it's left, sometimes it's right, but at least you know what you're getting.
Right.
They also have a browser extension that's really cool. You just install it on your browser, and then any article that you're reading, it'll tell you how left, right, or down the middle it is. 'Cause the problem is
It'll be like, bro, what you're reading right now is trash. Basically is what it's saying in a nice way, right? And yeah, so everyone should probably be using this thing, guys. I'm telling you, if you want to break out of this echo chamber you're in, or I mean, most people just don't. They're super comfortable here because why would you not be comfortable? Everyone speaks and thinks how you speak and think.
I'm so accustomed to our own news bubbles, we don't even know anymore how biased our info is. We just think it's the truth.
Bro, listen, I mean, in time you can kind of look at it, bro. You're like, oh, it says CNN? Okay. All right. It's like, oh, I snorted, bro. Like, oh, you see NBC and you're like, okay, right? Or you see Fox News and you're just like, bro, that's not even news.
But it's almost always got some kind of bias. And bias
more like commentary.
isn't necessarily bad. It's kind of unavoidable, really. But with ground news, at least you know how quality the information is. There's also a newsletter that they send out that I get that's called Burst Your Bubble. And it gives you the information from a perspective that you might not normally hear.
It's different from yours.
And you may not agree with it. And that's fine.
Right.
But I think it's important to know it's out there. Like, honestly, if I had it my way, I would make something like this mandatory for all news sites. I think it would go a long way to, improving the public discourse. But in lieu of me having omnipotent power over all the media, the best that I can do is to recommend you give ground news a try. We can't control what other people think, but we can take responsibility for our own information
Absolutely.
sources. Like, I'll be honest, some of the stuff I read on there, they make me uncomfortable. And they make me question my own assumptions. But that's important. That's how we grow. If nothing else, it's highlighted to me how insulated my own news consumption has become. These are things we need to be aware of. The plans are super affordable. They start at less than $1 a month, and you get so much in return. So just go to ground.news/Joe Scott. The URL is down in the description. All right, please do like and share this video.
But guys, all right, so listen, I like Joe Scott, no complaints here. And the product that he is talking about, it is a very good product. It is cheap, but here's the thing, guys. My only thing is that people really don't want to leave their echo chamber, right? It would be nice if people had the ability to kind of be like, hey, listen, I think everyone that's around me thinks the same as I, right? Maybe I should bring in some people that don't think anything like me. That would be beneficial, just generally. I'm just going to be honest here, guys, right? It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on at all. Just understand fully. You're being sucked into an echo chamber, guys. Echo chambers are terrible. I've never seen a good echo chamber, guys. Right? But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Let me know in the comments if I should be checking out any more of his videos, guys, and I will. No complaints.